Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are jumping into a source material that is truly ambitious.
It really is.
It's trying to combine this high-octane crime drama with a really chaotic, passionate romance. We are talking about the TBL series, The Heart Killers.
And this one is, well, it's a fantastic source for us because the critical feedback is so polarized.
So what's our mission today?
I think we need to unpack this huge 14-hour narrative. I mean, it's 12 episodes, but they're basically feature film length.
Yeah.
And figure out if the show's, undeniable strengths can outweigh the plot holes that led critics to call it a greasy burger.
That analogy is so perfect for it.
Isn't it?
It is, because you know you shouldn't eat it, but you just can't stop. And the core hook, I mean, it's completely irresistible.
Oh, absolutely.
You have two assassin brothers. Their front is a retro burger joint, and their whole dangerous double life is just immediately compromised.
The second romance gets involved.
Right, when their love interests turn out to be police informants.
Huh? And maybe we should provide a little bit of context here for anyone listening who might be new to this kind of media.
Good idea.
TBL dramas or boys' love, they often have these really high-concept premises. And the priority is almost always on chemistry and this intense, sometimes torturous relationship development.
Right, over strict narrative logic.
Exactly. So when critics talk about plot problems here, you have to remember they're measuring it against a genre that already loves drama over realism.
Okay, so let's unpack this setup then. We start with the brothers, Fatal and Bison.
And their diner, the Heart Burger, it's got the neon signs, that whole fantastic retro aesthetic.
Fatal is the older one. He's serious. He runs the business side of things. And then you have Bison, played by Kautong, who's the younger, carefree romantic who, well, ironically,
Can't even cook.
he can't cook a thing.
Which is such a perfect little detail. It just underscores the central irony. Their cover is so, domestic and mundane.
But their reality is lethal. They're elite assassins taking out these high-level, corrupt business tycoons.
All under the orders of their secretive boss, who they only know as Mother.
And this is right where that core conflict starts to churn. Fidel, played by Zhang, is so cautious. He's the guarded older brother.
He is. He maintains this intense emotional distance and is constantly, and I mean constantly, telling Bison that their job is totally incompatible with any kind of real relationship.
It's not just professional advice, is it?
No, not at all. What's fascinating is that his guarded nature, it isn't just about the job, it's fierce protection.
For Bison.
For Bison, he sees any emotional entanglement as a direct threat to his brother's life. His whole psychological profile is just locked down because he has everything to lose. The series is really asking, what does it mean to chase love when the stakes are literally life and death?
And Fatal's answer is just don't. Choose safety, even if it means shutting down emotionally.
But Bison is the complete opposite. He might have the occasional one-night stand, sure, but what he really wants is normalcy.
A stable partner, a real committed relationship.
Exactly. And his emotional openness, maybe even a little naivete, that's what makes him so vulnerable to what's about to happen.
And Fatal's warnings, of course, turn out to be completely prophetic.
Almost immediately, the entanglement arrives and just blows up their entire operational security.
This is where the series really delivers on its premise. Bison meets Kant, who's this super charismatic tattoo artist, at a bowling alley.
And it's supposed to be just a steamy, no-strings-attached night.
But Kant doesn't let go.
No. And we learn very quickly that Kant, played by First, is not who he seems to be at all. He's actually a former car thief.
Right, and he's being blackmailed by the police,
Yeah.
specifically a Captain Christ.
Yep. His mission is to be a secret informant, gather intel on the assassins, and in return, he gets his criminal record wiped and can protect his younger brother, Bade.
So the moment he realizes Bison is his target, his entire future is riding on this deception.
It is. So he tracks Bison down to the Heart Burger and starts this calculated, charming pursuit.
And he's laying it on thick. And Bison, who is just so desperate for a real connection, completely buys it. He's thinking, wow, this guy's sweet, he's affectionate, he could actually be boyfriend material.
Fidel, on the other hand, is instantly suspicious of Kant.
He can smell it a mile away.
Oh, yeah. He can sense the deception, even if he doesn't know the details. And that suspicion is what kicks off the whole plot for the second couple.
Because Kant needs Fidel distracted. He needs him out of the way.
So he enlists his friend, Style, a cheeky mechanic played by Dunk.
And the bribe is amazing.
A vintage car.
A vintage car. All you have to do is seduce this grumpy, suspicious assassin.
And Styles' pursuit is, it's legendary among fans. He is so persistent, so shameless. Critics even compared him to Pepe Le Pew.
That is perfect. He just follows Fatal everywhere. He shows up at the diner, at their apartment.
He absolutely refuses to accept Fatal's stony exterior. He is determined to chip away at that tough facade.
I think the genius of the early part of the story is how that mission of deception just completely crumbles.
It does. It crumbles under the weight of genuine feelings. Around episode 5, that line just blurs completely. Kant and Style are genuinely falling for their targets.
So the double dates they set up, they're not just for gathering intel anymore.
No, they're genuinely fraught with real emotion. Their betrayal of the police mission suddenly becomes a betrayal of their own self-interest. They were risking their freedom for the mission, and now they're risking their lives for the men they were supposed to turn in.
And that dynamic is really the lifeblood of that first half.
It really is.
Which brings us to the execution, the infamous greasy burger analysis. Let's start with the good stuff, because the show delivered exactly what the genre demands in a few key areas.
Oh, first and foremost, the chemistry. It is explosive.
It's sizzling.
Both pairings, Kant and Bison, Fatal and Style, they were electric. And the production team leaned into the sex appeal of the cast.
Yeah.
Hard.
They absolutely did. I mean, we saw Zhang, who plays Fatal, get to what some critics called Magic Mike level during a striptease sequence.
Yes. And Dunk, as Style, had plenty of moments where the camera definitely lingered on his, let's just say, alluring waistline. This was a series that knew its audience.
And it delivered on the aesthetic pleasure, 100%.
And beyond just the heat, the whole aesthetic works wonders. The retro vibe of the burger joint, the moody cinematography, the music, it all elevates moments like that bowling alley dance.
Or the late-night makeouts. It gives them the cinematic flair that, honestly, it distracts you from some of the plot issues.
It does.
Yeah.
And you can't forget Fidel's character arc. That's an absolute fan favorite.
Right. Styles' relentless, cheerful personality somehow manages to transform Fatal from this ruthless, guarded killer
Into a sensitive, emotionally open partner. It's that classic payoff, you know?
Yeah.
The softie breaking the hard shell.
We have to talk about the breakdown.
We do.
The critics were brutal about the plot. The consensus was that while the first bite was incredible, the story became, and I quote, laughably dumb.
Yeah, that's where the lack of logic really starts to sink the crime element of the show.
It's not even about just illogical events, right? It was assassins and police acting like total amateurs.
Exactly. The source material points out these bizarre lapses in logic, like professional killers leaving key evidence just lying around in plain sight.
Or police informants who are basically dating their targets openly in public with no real surveillance from their handlers. It just doesn't add up.
And the pacing suffered so much because of it. 14 hours is a long time.
It's so long.
And it felt incredibly bloated because the middle section just got stuck in this repetitive loop of relationship conflict. The same trust issues over and over again.
It felt like they had this amazing high-stakes premise, but instead of using the crime to push the plot forward, they just used the relationship drama as filler. The momentum just died.
And that bloated conflict, it led directly to the critique about the unhealthy dynamics.
Yeah.
And this isn't just about arguments. Some of it got genuinely questionable.
You're talking about the gun.
I am. Critics really zeroed in on that moment when Bison finds out about Kant's betrayal. In the confrontation, Bison points a gun directly at Kant.
Which is a serious line to cross, even for a show about assassins. Reviewers saw that as a real deal breaker, saying the show was trying to romanticize some really toxic, dangerous behavior inside what's supposed to be a loving relationship.
Right. If your audience is already willing to overlook the plot holes, they're probably not going to overlook extreme emotional manipulation or a physical threat. It just showed a lack of finesse in handling that escalating conflict.
So the story lost focus, the pacing dragged, the drama got a little tacky, but despite all that, the final act still had to resolve this whole mess. How did they possibly wrap it up?
The resolution is surprisingly efficient. The big turning point finally hits around episode 8. It's not just Bison finding out Kant's lies.
It's the big reveal of the main villain.
Exactly. Lily, their trusted boss, mother. She was the antagonist all along.
So now, facing betrayal from their own leader, the four guys have to unite.
And Kant steps up. He proves his loyalty is now with Bison. He goes to Captain Christ and brokers a deal.
Give me evidence against Lily.
And in exchange, Fatal and Bison get a reduced sentence. It's a surprisingly clean legal twist for a show that kind of ignored the law for most of its runtime.
It works. The brothers are arrested, but thanks to Kant's deal, they only get 5 years.
Yes. And what comes next is, I think, one of the most intense demonstrations of romantic commitment I've ever read about.
It is truly wild. While Fatal and Bison are in prison, Kant and Style make these huge personal sacrifices to keep the relationships going.
Huge is an understatement. This is where the show leans into absurdity to show how deep their feelings are. Kant and Style literally become instructors
Yeah,
at the prison where their boyfriends are.
it's mind-boggling. They sacrifice their own freedom, enter a prison environment for 5 years, just so they can see them more often.
It's not just dedication, it's a whole new career path defined by their partner's incarceration.
But Style doesn't stop there.
No. Outside the prison, he works like crazy to buy back the Burger restaurant which had been sold. It's the ultimate symbolic act.
He's reacquiring the symbol of their normal life together.
And 5 years later, they finally get that happy ending. The dual endings are really touching.
They are. Style surprises Fatal with the diner. You see Fatal pin the restaurant pin back onto his shirt. It's this great full circle moment.
And then you have Kant and Bison. They move in together and finally take that romantic trip to Iceland they always talked about.
To see the northern lights, it's a symbol of their free, bright future.
Although, in true Heart Killers fashion, you can't end without one more burst of action.
Of course not.
Lily shows up for revenge, kidnaps some family members in this really abrupt final twist, but the four guys just quickly and definitively neutralize her. It's an implied poisoning, and then they live happily ever after. For real this time.
So, if we pull back and synthesize the legacy here, The Heart Killers is a show that is carried almost entirely by the charisma and chemistry of its cast.
Absolutely. Jung and Katong are mentioned as major standouts. It's a show for viewers who are willing to just throw logic and common sense out the window.
In favor of high style and intense emotion.
It's exactly the unique aesthetic, the entertaining couples. That's the undeniable success of this series. The fact that fans still champion it tells you everything about the power of casting and visual appeal over an airtight plot.
But let's circle back to where we started. The whole relationship between these four men was built on a foundation of, well, lies and deception.
Calculated, high-stakes deception.
Yet look at the immense commitment in that ending. Kant and Style took on prison instructor roles. Style sacrificed his financial stability to buy back that restaurant. They endured 5 years of struggle.
So what does that say?
That's the question for you, the listener. What does this extreme scenario really say about love? When partners are willing to make that level of sacrifice to maintain a relationship that began with total betrayal, what does that suggest about the idea of profound commitment?
I think it suggests that sometimes the intensity of the spark matters more than the integrity of the start. It suggests that even the most dangerous, unstable beginnings can lead to a real, enduring bond.
Provided you're willing to sacrifice everything else for it.
Including your job security. And maybe that, right there, is the true romantic fantasy this series was selling.
A profound thought to end on. If you're looking for logic, maybe stick to a documentary. But if you want that messy, greasy burger of high-stakes, high-chemistry romance...
The Heart Killers delivered.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. It really helps the channel grow. See you in the next one.